you can tell, behind us, we've got the Avalanche. We are in the ramp truck, and in a moment, I'm going to pick back up and explain what's going down. All right, well, I was going to go ahead and start explaining everything, but I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go get what we're getting and come back, and then I'll start kind of like my intro all over again. But just know, we are getting something that is very, very, very special to the channel, and I hope that you guys are excited. I'm not sure if I have it pictured in the thumbnail or anything like that, but if I do, guys, just know I'm excited because so many of you guys have sent me this, and you know, it is what it is. It worked out perfectly. We're obviously going to trade the Avalanche for it, and hopefully get it back to its former glory. So without further ado, I'm going to pick back up when we get to our destination, which is only about 15 minutes. It actually ended up making its way closer to where I sold it from. So we're going about 15 minutes down the road here. I'm gonna load it up and head home. I am freaking excited, guys and girls. I hope you guys are too. Now, I was super sad and super down about this at the beginning, but I think with enough time has passed, I think we can get it up and running and back to, like I previously said, back to its former glory. So I'm gonna get here and get this thing loaded up. We are back. We are back. We are back. And again, we are back. So I don't know if you guys are new to the channel or not, but this was a vehicle that I ended up purchasing. I think it was 4 years ago for the first time ever. And I absolutely love this thing. I always wanted a C5 Corvette. It was one of those like milestones that I hit just over 30. I was, I guess, going through a midlife crisis, much like I am now, and I was just like, man, I gotta have a C5 Corvette. I could finally afford one. This one came across the auction block. I was actually a car dealer at the time, and lo and behold, I ended up bringing this thing home. So I had it for about a year. If you don't know the backstory, I'll tell you a quick little rundown on the backstory. So I had it for about a year. Took it down to Ocean City Cruise Week. I did it, well, back a little bit. I did a cam to it. I did, you know, a bunch of work to it, straight pipe exhaust, headers, put wheels on it. I didn't go too crazy. Ended up driving it down to Cruise Week. I got pulled over, got a bunch of fines with it, and I was just sick of getting pulled over. So I came back. Mike, Street Speed 717, actually made me an offer on the car. I ended up selling it to him the very next day. I couldn't pass up the deal, so I ended up selling it to him. He had it for like 8 months, had his fun with it. I ended up buying it back. So this year will be 3 years since I bought this thing back from Mike, Street Speed 717. I don't know why I keep saying Street Speed 717, just to give him his credibility and his shout out. But I ended up buying this thing back. I ended up totaling it the day before Christmas. I bought it the day before Christmas. I ended up going to work, coming back home, and I was, you know, I was in the wrong. I ended up wrecking it, and then the channel started. So it's 100% where I started the channel. It is what started me in this whole YouTube career that I am in now. So this thing has a bunch of value to me. I did a whole rebuild process on it. Had it in the, it did like 1040s on nitrous. It was a fast, reliable car on nitrous, and that's probably how I should have left it. But then we did, Huron Speed joined in, we did a twin turbo kit on it, and by then it started making big power, and I gotta admit, it depleted me. It brought me down, I used to not have money, but I spent a lot of money trying to upkeep this and get the channel rolling. Long story short, I ended up, I think I blew one motor. I blew like 3 transmissions, I think 4 differentials, and it was just expensive. These Corvette parts are not cheap. Unless you put the money into them, then they're not very reliable once you start making over 700 horsepower. I fought with it, couldn't figure out boost issues, and long and behold, I ended up destroying this car, which it kills me to say, but I was just angry with the car. I completely destroyed it. I ran into the back of it with a Suburban that I had at the time. We'll go outside here. I'll show you the back end and everything of this, but it was just completely destroyed. I was frustrated. It had fuel leaks at the time. The clutch stopped working. The battery would die overnight. Just a bunch of little, like, petty things that just added up, and I was just done spending money on this car. I know I'd never announced how much I spent, but I had upwards of $37,000 in this car, and at that point YouTube wasn't making me near what it makes now. It was making, you know, $2,000 a month. Definitely didn't suit for what I was doing with the car. A video that I would make would cost me $1,000 and I'd make $110. So it definitely wasn't worth it at the point when I was, you know, trying to get this thing up and running. So I basically, long story short, took a few months off. I think I sold this in February. We're coming up on, I think, 8 months that I sold it. It actually changed hands to other people than who I sold it to. This thing actually has 11 owners now, which is absolutely insane to think of. There's exactly only 1 mile on the odometer since I sold it. And it's just time that this thing came back home. So if you did see at the beginning of the video, we did have the Avalanche here. I'm sorry guys if you did or was here for the Avalanche and love that thing. I made the financial decision to go ahead and trade the Avalanche for the C5 Corvette back. So I think this is going to do a lot of good. I think it's going to bring me back into like a peaceful area. I'm going to put this thing back to just being an all motor. I might do nitrous, I might not. I think it's just going to be an all motor, just rowdy, you know, cool little street car, something that I can jump in, I can drive, you know, we can kind of show it off, put it on the back of the ramp truck, which it's on right now, and just kind of like putz around and have some fun, go to some shows, do some burnouts. That's kind of what I want this car to be. I'm not out here to compete with anybody. I'm just gonna start, you know, start fresh with it. We're gonna see what happens. As you can tell, the guy that I purchased it off of, he has a bunch, and I do mean a bunch, of parts that can go back on this thing to help finish this thing up. He bought a new slave cylinder for it. I believe there's a new clutch in here. There's a bunch of parts, another intake for it. There's a VariRam intake back there. I didn't even fully start going through this, so by the end of the video you guys will all know what I have back here. Black leather interior now. It actually has black interior. When I sold it, it was all silver, so you can see like the door trims and all that are black now. The roof is black. Pillars are black, carpet's black, everything is black in the car now, which is absolutely cool. That's what I wanted to do, so it sort of saved me. And for the money that we have in this thing right now, guys, I cannot complain whatsoever. So let me go ahead and jump out of here. I'll fire it up, get some idling, get some revving. We do got to get it tuned yet. So far it's running, but I'm gonna have to pull it all back apart because there is no clutch pedal. So exactly how I left it basically, except they put the whole rear end back together. The front end was already back together before I gave it away there, but I mean, I'm freaking excited. You can see the headlights are working. We've got everything basically where it needs to be. I'm ready, guys. I'm freaking pumped to say that the C5 is back, and I'm just gonna make it a cool driver. So let's get some shots of it outside here. I might get it off the ramp truck right now. I'm not really sure. You may still see it on the end of the ramp truck by the time we're done. But welcome the C5 guys back. Drop in the comments down below who's excited for a return to the C5. And again, we're not going crazy. We're not gonna make over 500 horsepower with this thing. Might make close, but we're not going to do anything crazy. It's just going to be a fun, reliable driver and a complete burnout machine. So with that being said, guys, let's move to the outside and get some views. All right, guys and girls, well, that is going to go ahead and wrap up this video for today. I gotta admit, when I first got rid of this thing, I was super excited that it was gone. I actually felt no remorse selling it or anything like that. I didn't really have, I don't want to say I hated the car, but I was just completely fed up and I definitely needed some time away. But as you can tell, we've got it back here to the house. It seems to be running a lot better. We are going to schedule it to get tuned. They do have the e-brake disconnected, which I don't know why. There's a bunch of things we'll go over that needs done to it from right now to be able to make this thing roadworthy. That's why we didn't drive it. Obviously the clutch is out of it. But look for a video probably at the end of the month or end of the week here on everything that we have to do to this thing to get this thing back up to roadworthy and ready to be ripped around. So there you guys have it again. I hope that you are glad to have the C5, the small cam C5, back on the channel. This thing sounds freaking gnarly. I absolutely love this thing. If I can find a couple clips from it, previously when I had it all done in orange, I'll try to do that. Or if I even have the silver previously, I'll go ahead and do that. But I'm glad that it is back. I'm freaking excited to get torn. I'm excited to start tearing into it, but I am excited that the C5 is back. It's a little bumming that the Avalanche has left, but you know what? It's time to move on. As far as everything else, I have way too many other trucks. The Avalanche just seemed like it was like the perfect thing to go ahead and move. I know I use that thing to do all the towing and everything, but you know what, guys? We'll just get the F450 back in the streets here and start using that again. But there you guys have it again. I hope you guys enjoy it and are ready for some more C5 content. Take care, guys. We'll see you in the next one. Roll some old clips. He certainly sounds ready, boys. Alrighty, guys, so we will show you what we got here from Texas Speed. Number one, we have our camshaft. Now, I'm not going to give you guys the cam specs or anything like that just yet because I want to get it in the car and get some sound to it. And I'd rather hear it than give you the specs, because with the specs you might be able to decide what it's going to sound, or you're going to jump on the internet and you're going to find what it's going to sound like. So I'm not going to give you the specs on that just yet. All right, guys, we are going to install the cam. So I have a crank pulley puller here. I got a hammer. I don't think I really need the hammer, but I brought it just in case. It is a 24 millimeters, so we're going to go ahead and get this off first. That was actually fairly easy, and I'm okay with it. So I'm going to apologize first about the neighbor running the tractor. There's nothing I can really do about that. And now's the time I got to get this done. So we're going to plug and chug at this, guys. Maiden voyage here with Mo. We're actually in a parking lot over here. Yay! Woo! Dude, I have a feeling this thing's pretty fast and I don't want to do it with her in here. How you like the Corvette? That's what I call a pile of fun there. Oh man, did it do in those Mickeys. Now I've been practicing, obviously you can see it goes pretty well the whole way down this street. Now I've been practicing my launches and things like that. I've been practicing trying to get more heat into these tires, and I think I finally found how to do that. Now I was having issues because the tires has skinnies on the front, so it wasn't exactly holding the power. But I finally think I found how to actually hold that power, and now we can actually send this thing down the drag strip with some traction. So let's get over here to a place where I can pull over and actually talk to you guys a little bit, and I'll kind of express some things that are going on in my life, some life changes and things like that. And I'm not exactly upset about the way things are going.